Hey there. Can't hear you.
Hey, Mary Ann, how are you?
Of the 100-acre parcel that we're threatening to blow over into a neighbor's yard. And I thought it was nice that they took the time to write me a letter. I won't read the whole thing. I'll just read the first part of it. He says, I wanted to take a moment and thank you very much for your attention and dedication to our issue with the trees in our backyard. Not only do we feel more safe, but our neighbors to the east and west feel much better about it too. The tree removal crew was great to interact with and move quickly. And I'll remind you that Mark David was the one who put me in touch with that crew. So he knows good people to contact and I appreciate it. Thank you, Mark. Now we move into reports from town board members and department heads. I do want to say that this is the time that residents expect town board members to make their report and department heads to make their report. And it's really not a forum for others to speak about what's going on. So if you would limit it to your report, and others will have a chance to speak in the second correspondence period. So going to Councilwoman Corbin, please.
The Conservation Board meeting that was set for July 1st was canceled, so did not attend that. And I will be doing my update on the Tier 3 solar energy systems in town during the old business. And that is what I have to report for tonight.
Thank you. How about Councilman Woolaver?
We had a meeting of the 1911 committee. I guess we're going to consider three options: to renovate the building with an addition, or to tear it down and go for a community center. Chris Miller has graciously said she'd take the chairmanship of it with possibly help from Dick Schneider. That's it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Reports from department heads. Is Pat Stevens with us?
I don't think I saw her.
Okay, is Mark David with us?
I don't think I saw Mark either.
I know Kirsten Flass is with us, but Amber, as the liaison to the library, do you have her report?
Again, Supervisor, with my husband being in the hospital, I think something came in late in the day, but I have not had a chance to get it.
Amber, do you want me to help you out with that?
If you have that, Victoria, that would be great.
Yep, she wrote that the curbside service is busier than ever. Every day is busier than the last. They're continuing curbside delivery until the sneeze guards are installed, hopefully by next week. After that, they'll open for limited in-person library services. The library is also working on the 2021 budget. The summer reading program is underway, and thank you to Colby's and the 7-Eleven that are continuing to be sponsors for the summer reading program. And Pam, I will send this to you so you can copy it.
Thank you
Thank
to
you.
both of you.
Thank you.
How about our assessor, Augie Minio?
Did not see him on there.
All right. How about our town clerk, Pam Busey?
I do have a report. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has launched not a new program, but an updated program, and has submitted each town and each agent a new equipment. So we do have the new equipment, but I'm awaiting their response in order to get passwords and initialization of the equipment so that we can have and can provide licenses to people. So hopefully that will be up and running. A lot of the towns within the county have not been up and running since the start of on June 29th. The other thing is the transcription agreement that I submitted to the supervisor. I would request that we have a resolution this evening to approve that and get your signature on that. And the sneeze guards are supposed to be installed on Friday the 10th. They were to be installed on the 7th, but they rescheduled.
Are you prepared with a resolution to read under new business?
Yeah, the resolution should be just to approve the signed agreement.
Yeah, well, maybe we can get some motion going with all the ayes when we get to that
Okay.
part of the new business. Thank you. Okay, how about Attorney Mancuso? Do you have a report?
No report.
Oh my, with all the talking we've done? That's okay, understandable. All right, let's move on to new business. I'm sorry, old business. And we have a short report from our chief engineer, Todd Ewell, regarding his relationship of bringing other people into the process for getting the roof fixed. Todd?
Yep, so let me see, can I start my video? There we go. Yep, hey Jerry. As we discussed earlier, I did reach out to QPK last week before the holiday, tried to get them going. So they said they would. Vince Nicatra said he would put together a proposal to hopefully address the issues at the roof. And he would need to confer with another colleague at QPK, and that gentleman happened to be on vacation. So I'm pushing. I don't have a final yet. I reached out again today, so I'll keep going with that. And as soon as they can get you a proposal, the board can review and see where you want to go. And let John obviously look through it too.
Thank you very much. That will be great, and I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. So.
All right, let's move on to number 2, the Rush Riverside Refuge update from Deputy Supervisor Mosetti.
So as everyone knows, over the past couple of months and throughout COVID, an organization, RISA, the Rush Henrietta Youth Sports Association, and the Fellowship for Christian Athletes were interested in using the 6565 East River Road, the Rush Riverside Refuge, in leasing some of the property for athletic fields for public use and for the organization. There isn't much of an update. The director, the local director, actually just had a baby over the weekend. So he hopes to come to the next board meeting. He was unable to come tonight. And just to make everybody in the public aware, we've been fielding a lot of questions, a lot of concerns, a lot of misconceptions, a lot of, questions, I guess, the board has. And if I could just let everybody in the public know that this is extremely preliminary. We are reaching out to everybody. We're hearing your concerns. We're listening. We're understanding where everybody is coming from. But this is extremely preliminary, and I support Jerry. I think that I've seen everything that he's responded and saying that the town of Rush would never make any decision without hearing from everybody in town that's interested. But if I could just reassure the public that's listening that it is extremely preliminary, and that we will continue to work together as a community.
Thank you, Victoria. And I want to piggyback on her remarks. We have been inundated with comments, both phone comments, email comments from people. And I want to tell you, we will not engage in any kind of a relationship that the residents of this town do not support. I think what we need to do is complete our due diligence by listening to the proposal from the people who are making it, and then decide. I think to cut them off without listening to them would be incorrect and unfortunate in the long run. So if they present some information that isn't comfortable for us, I think we all know what to do about it, but we've got to be courteous and listen to what they have to say. Next on the agenda, number 3, is the Invenergy Horseshoe Solar filing on the DPS website. Councilwoman Corbin.
Thank you very much, Supervisor. The Deputy Supervisor has made me a co-host, so I can try to share in under 5 minutes just an update of where things stand with Invenergy and Horseshoe Solar in our town that we love. On July 2nd, Invenergy filed on the DPS website. And what I want to attempt to do is show you what that would look like and how you would get to it if you are so interested. So let me find it. That's not it. I'm getting there. So if you are interested in any solar information, and hopefully my Wi-Fi stays connected, then you want to go to the Town of Rush website, where all things solar can be found. And it should be popping up, and there it is. And if you scroll down, you will see solar information. So if you are interested in a Horseshoe Solar project, or you're interested in the Forefront Werner project, this is the link you would go to. For the first part of what I'm talking about tonight, which is Horseshoe Solar and their filing, this website right here, New York State website, is the one you want to click on. And this our town website needs to be updated as far as more up-to-date information, but hopefully this will pop up for us. And you will find, this is the New York State Department of Public Service. If you don't go through the town website, it's very tedious to try to find. So use the town website. And as my slow internet attempts to load, this is what will pop up. And you will find that 134 files from Horseshoe Solar were filed on July 2nd. I've probably only been through a handful of them to date, but as I go through, I'm probably making many of you dizzy, and I apologize. You get all the way down. It goes all the way 134 files. So you'll say, well, what does that mean to me? Well, it means a lot, because in order to understand what Horseshoe Solar would like to do in our town, you need to get a good understanding of what's there. So what I did was I printed out 21 pages, and I cut and taped them together as the school teacher that I am. And these are individual pages. It's difficult to traverse. It truly is. But right here, what you see where my mouse is the Gola Road area. And if I zoom in a little bit more, if I don't lose my connection, this is the current substation in this really light gray, tiny nothing. This large area here is a new substation that I just learned about when I looked at the documentation. Next to it is a 5,200 square foot building with parking. So again, as I'm just want everyone to be up to date, this is where you can find this information. If you want to see just the actual map that's not cut and pasted, again, going through 134 files, I can share the new screen. Come on, new screen. This is what the entire project looks like from Caledonia on the west to over here on the right, which is Rush. This area right here, I don't know if you can see where I'm circling, I think you can, is the Gola substation. And of course, everything stopped sharing all of a sudden. So what I want everyone to just be very mindful of as you go through these documents, you're going to see lots of information. It's very time consuming, but we need to do it as a town so we can be better educated as to what is happening in our town. Share. Of course, it doesn't want to share, so we'll go back to original. So what I'd like to just update you on is Horseshoe Solar is still in rush. They have over 700 acres in leases, a couple hundred acres in panels, but this new substation, what's that?
I heard less than 100 acres of panels.
So with the 700 acres of leases, with the new substation and the 5,200 square foot building, it's called an O&M building, operation and maintenance, I believe is what it stands for. And again, be educated, let your voices be heard, pro, con, or in between, wherever. It's our town. We have the right to stand up for what we would like or what we don't want. They are asking for quite a few changes in our local solar law that the previous administration spent, oh my gosh, what, over a year developing. And one of them that jumped out at me is our current local solar law allows for 12-foot high solar panels. They're asking for a waiver of up to 17 feet in height for solar panels. So it's also a very culturally sensitive area of the Seneca. There's a burial site down Angola Road. You can go to the Rochester Museum and Science Center. I've spent some time there researching that as well as many local residents have been down at that site for years. So I just wanted to update everyone. That's where things stand on Horseshoe Solar. They have filed their formal application. There's a 60-day window. It gets really complicated at this point, and I'll do my best to continue to update everyone as best as I can, but feel free to reach out to me or any other board member with questions you might have.
I think we should have Horseshoe in to give a presentation like all the other solar projects have in the past. They could explain exactly where they're coming from and what they plan to do.
That's something that we can have Kate Millar get in touch with us about, Dan. It's just that we don't have a say like we do with our local solar law, in the sense of
But
we can
it would help
have a public
to
hearing.
actually see what they have planned. Might save people time going through all the paperwork. They could explain it. They could answer questions. They could tell us exactly what they plan to do.
And I think that's a great thing to have done, but don't forget what we saw just a few months ago is very different than what we're seeing now, and can be very different in the future. So it's a moving project.
On the application now, they would have to go with the application. I don't think it's going to change. I mean, there's a lot of work that went into the application. I don't think it's just they're going to move it around. It would help to get an explanation from them.
At this point, I'd like to interject and ask Attorney Mancuso if he has an opinion that could be shared with the residents regarding that. I recall the conference we had earlier this week indicated that what we see now may not be what they want to do a year from now. Do you have a comment to share on that, John?
Yes, they can change the project in the application phase. Obviously, what we now have is an application which has one set of plans associated with it. It's not precluded for them to change it in the process. At this point, obviously, what's important is to just monitor and understand exactly what we have currently. And if the board feels it appropriate for them to provide information to us at this point, that's fine. We'll still need to obviously monitor it moving forward to ensure that either it doesn't change, or it does change, whether the waivers they're requesting are changed or not. All of those things will be important as we proceed. It's going to be a long process. It's going to take at least a year to go through all of this, if not, longer, depending on what may or may not be filed as part of the process. So yes, I mean, there could be changes. We'll have to monitor it both now and in the future.
Thank you. In addition to the informational maps that Councilwoman Corbin put together, we do have a large scale map in the town hall. I know there's not a lot of traffic in the town hall now, but that will be there for the foreseeable future. And if anyone wants to look at those when they come in the town hall, they certainly can by getting a hold of the town clerk, the deputy town clerk, or even the supervisor secretary or me. It's hard to look at because it's quite blurry, but you can study it and figure it out. And I think it would be helpful for people who have an interest in such matters.
If we brought Horseshoe in, maybe they would supply maps that are better than that one.
No, Dan, the map is good. What I did is just simply what I had printed off. They have full scale blueprints that are very clear.
Fine.
And the town clerk, Pam, if you want to share with the public the documentations that your office received as well.
I was going to add that I have received all the application documents in big binders. We have a copy and so does the library, so they're open to be reviewed.
But in order to do that with the town hall still closed, they need to call and make an appointment, correct?
Absolutely.
And wear a mask in the proper, okay, great.
I still don't see a problem why we can't have Horseshoe come in and explain their project to the people of the town.
I don't think we've ruled that out. We certainly can consider that.
Okay, well, let's think about it.
Well, maybe better than think, we'll do it. Amber, anything else?
That was it for the Horseshoe update of the Tier 3. The second, or number 4, on July 22nd, there is a public hearing for Forefront, for the town board to hold a public hearing on the establishment of a solar overlay district for this Tier 3 project that falls under our local law. And again, if you are so interested, all you have to do is go on to, again, the town website, and hopefully it clicks up for me. Hopefully. I'll just make it easy. I'll just type in Town of Rush. And once again, once you go to the home page of our new share, you go to the solar. It's going to pop up in a minute. There it is. Again, you just go to solar information. But instead of going down here for Horseshoe, you're going to go to the top where it says solar information on Rush Solar Projects. If you'd like to hear more, learn more about the Forefront Warner project, this is where you will find all the documents. And of course, my internet is unstable. And once you click on that, if it pops up, which it may not for my Wi-Fi,
Oh, there.
It's working, Amber.
you
Yep.
will see it goes to, perfect, Forefront. These are all the documents the town has received in 2020. If you scroll down further, you'll see all the documents we've had posted since 2019. I think the one that's probably of most interest to most of the town is the map and the simulations. And again, I'm not going to go through it because I've spent way too much time as it is, but this will go through and show you the project. There's Werner's Farm Market. There is their Tier 3 solar. So you can go through and look at their visual, how they're going to visually hide the project for the neighboring community. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much.
The only thing, I'll add one thing to follow up on the public hearing. With the governor's 2 most recent executive orders, he has extended the virtual components of the open meetings law and public hearings. And so those may continue now to be completely remote, as we have been doing for the past several months.
One thing John was doing was being courteous to the governor because he slipped the last one in at 8:45 p.m. Monday night and caught
Yes, he
us
did.
all off guard. And I wouldn't rule that out happening in the future, but let's hope that we can get through this and have a minimum of disruption to anyone involved. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We can move on to new business, and the number one new business item is a resolution to appoint a new building inspector. I'd like to remind everyone that since January, our fire marshal and property maintenance officer, Rick Tracy, has been filling in as building inspector also. It was kind of, I don't want to use the term easy for him to do that, but because of the COVID, there wasn't a full plate of activity going on. And now that construction is allowed, it's starting to pick up and Rick is running out of steam. And we decided to advertise for new building inspector. We got some pretty good resumes in. We interviewed and we have selected a new building inspector. His name is John Limbeck. He carries New York State certification and has quite a bit of experience working in the town of Pittsford and Penfield and for some corporate applications. I would like to move forward with the resolution to appoint Mr. Limbeck to start Thursday morning. Does anyone have any comment to make before I read the resolution?
No.
Okay. I move to authorize the appointment of John Limbeck as part-time building inspector to a 20-hour schedule at step 1.
Supervisor, is it possible for you to angle directly to your microphone? Because I'm having trouble hearing it at least.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Did anyone else? Does everyone else have it? Okay. Okay.
We'll go again. I didn't read that much. I move to authorize the supervisor, my appointment of John Limbeck as a part-time building inspector to a 20-hour work week schedule at step 1, effective July 9th, 2020 through December 31st, 2020. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Wilbur,
Aye.
Councilwoman Corbin,
Aye.
Supervisor Cusey,
Aye. And while we're all on the ayes, I'd like to propose that our assessor, August Minio, can hire a new assessor's clerk. So I move to authorize his appointment of Jamie Young as a part-time assessor's clerk to a 20-hour work week schedule at step 2, effective July 21st through December 31st, 2020. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Wilbur,
Aye.
Councilwoman Corbin,
Aye.
Supervisor Cusey,
Aye. Now, moving on to number 3 under new business. Filling the board vacancy. I think for those who have not been updated on the situation, let me give a little background. When I took over as the supervisor in January of this year, that vacated my town board seat. I purposely resisted filling that town board seat because I truly believe that filling the town board seat by appointment is wrong. The appointment is not represented by the voters, and it should be. So I thought, and I still think, that a 4-member board could function on behalf of the town residents and we could move forth. We had a couple of glitches, but nothing that was a showstopper. I still believe very strongly that residents should select their elected representatives, not appointments by any other affiliation. I'd like to say that I've had to swallow hard the last couple of weeks because our former town board member, Rita McCarthy, resigned, and that has reduced our board membership down to 3. I think a 4-member board can function. I'm not so sure about a 3-member board, and I'm very, very concerned about going forth with a 3-member board. So the decision to appoint a candidate who would be interested in running versus a candidate who is not interested in running was really scrutinized. And I felt that it's more important at this time to serve the residents of Rush by appointing a town board member on a temporary basis from the time of appointment through the end of December. There are at least 2 people running for election in the November election. And I think the people who elect them, they are the ones who should take whatever seat they win in that election. This appointment that I'd like to make now is to help us get through with a 4-member board, not a 3-member board. I've looked at some candidates, and this particular candidate will not be running for election, so it won't be like appointing someone to run as an incumbent. That will not happen. This person has a strong financial background, holds a CPA, and can help do a lot of things that I have on the palette, such as making town financial reports much easier to understand by anyone who has an interest in understanding them. So I would like to propose that the board consider the appointment, temporary appointment of Jean Morelli to this empty board seat so that we can move forth with 4 board members. Is there any discussion on this matter?
Well, this is Amber. I will say that with budget coming up, having someone with a strong financial background is someone we need. Our financial director is remote, and I'm new to this process and trying to get my feet wet, but it is a huge undertaking with the pandemic and the situation we find ourselves in. And we need someone with experience and knowledge, because that's what our town needs at this time with the budget coming up. Because it's going to be a difficult one with our reduction in sales tax and everything else we haven't even begun to digest.
I'm saying no. We
I'm
were
sorry.
going to have 3 board members or 4 board members vote on another person to the board, and you said no, and now you just pick one, just you.
Now, wait a minute. Make sure you understand what you're saying. I would
Of course
not.
not, Jerry, explain it to me.
Would you like an explanation?
Go ahead.
Then let me do it. I was reluctant, in fact, resistant to picking someone who had future political aspirations, because I never have thought it was appropriate to appoint someone to be an incumbent when they ran. This particular person will be an asset to the residents of Rush, not an incumbent. It's to get us through this period of time when we can use a 4th member and when we can use the expertise that this person holds to go through the budgeting process and make some tweaks in the procedure for budgeting.
We
Can I
talked
make
about
it
Jeff
any-
Warner a long time ago. He said he would do it to the end of the year. He has experience and he's not running for the position. And you said
Well,
no.
I did say no, absolutely, I did say no, and there were reasons why I said no.
Well, then I'm saying no. I have my,
I didn't know that Jeff Werner had the financial credentials that could help us.
he's been on the board before, Jerry. He's familiar with everything going on in town.
Well, I'm sorry, Dan, I don't agree with you on that. I agree that Jeff would make a good addition, but I didn't think the appointment of him was appropriate at this time.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do is read a resolution to appoint and then take a vote.
Go ahead.
I move to authorize the appointment of Gene Morelli as a temporary town board member.
Supervisor, we cannot hear you.
I'm sorry. I move to authorize the appointment of Gene Morelli as a temporary town board member effective immediately at appointment through December 31st, 2020. Do I have a second to that motion?
I will second that.
I'm sorry.
just want
Councilman Mulder?
No.
Councilwoman Corbin?
Aye.
Supervisor Cusey?
Aye. And Dan, I think I can understand why you have a reluctance to do this, but I can't help but wonder if you're thinking of the best interests of the town of Rush.
Jerry, don't.
Yes. I don't hear you.
Never mind. Just no.
Well, that's okay.
That's okay.
I'll just say that having a 3-member board is not doing a service to the town. I might not have been
We
able
should
to
have
bend.
appointed a new member a long time ago, but Jerry said no. Now he changes his mind and he wants his person.
Dan, would you
That's
please
just
be
not fair.
courteous and let the councilwoman speak?
Go ahead.
Having a 3-member board versus a 4-member board is a huge difference. For the public's reference, and for us to be here meeting tonight, we have to have a quorum of a 5-member board. And if Attorney Mancuso can make sure I'm stating this correctly, we have to have 3 of us present to hold a town board meeting. If something had happened to my husband tonight, and I'm not saying this to try, it's the truth, I would not have been able to be here, and this town board meeting would not have been able to have happened. So the ability to have someone with a financial background, temporary basis, I think serves the people of Rush very well.
You have a financial officer.
I think I probably didn't make myself clear when I explained the situation to you, Dan. But you have voted no. And I think that's unfortunate that you're looking at this with other considerations other than what's best for our town. So let's move on. Let's not belabor the point. And we'll move on to the update to board meetings, process and procedures. What we're attempting to do, and I mentioned this a couple minutes ago, we are trying to make sure that we serve the community that put us in office. And in so doing, we want to make some of the challenges that we are faced with almost every day pretty transparent to the community. And then we have things like Monday night at 8:45 p.m. when the governor issues a new edict about being able to extend our Zoom meetings. And what that does is it changes all of our plans. We were in a meeting last night trying to become accustomed to the technology that we would use. And all of a sudden we said, oh, geez, we got another month to practice that. So we went home and spent some time at home last night. But we do have almost another month to become acclimated to that technological change that we're going to be faced with. We want to make sure that all of our boards, the town board, the planning board, the zoning board of appeals, and the conservation board all conduct their meetings in a way that eventually will accommodate any in-person attendees that choose to be there, and also provide telecommunications such as we are on tonight, so that people don't have to leave in the middle of winter when it's 0 degrees out. They can Zoom in on the meeting from the comfort of their home. We continue to have to want to do that. And I hope that's sits well with everyone. I think it's a good way to go. And I would welcome any kind of observation or opinion that would either let us know you agree with that or disagree with it. Amber and Victoria, you both have worked very diligently on trying to make this happen. Your task isn't done yet. And I'm asking you if you have anything to add to this subject matter.
I agree with the points that you made, and I read some of the minutes that the town clerk wrote about what I had said 2 weeks ago about Zoom not being the best broadcasting tool. And that was a very accurate statement and well captured. With that being said, I do think that we need to reach our residents, reach our neighbors, and figure out a more inclusive way to engage everybody in this process. So I agree with you, Jerry, and I support you. Amber reached out to all of the boards, and just to let the public know, Amber made an Excel spreadsheet of which devices members may need, which tech support members may need, and if a member needs an actual device, or if they need a set of headsets, or how we go about doing that. But just to let the public know that we are working behind the scenes tirelessly to figure out a way to navigate this COVID. John, you've been very helpful as well in, letting us know about the governor's changes and the dates. It's the same as a school district. He lets us know Friday night at 6 o'clock what's happening on Mondays. So just to let everybody in the public know that we are working hard.
Agreed.
Supervisor Pusey, has anybody reached out to the other towns to see what best is working for them, or if their IT department, has our IT department been contacted at all?
So I know that, oh, sorry, Jerry, do you want to answer?
I'm not as qualified to answer as you are, so go ahead, then I'll add afterward.
So I know that we've heard from a variety, this was, I think back in March, there was another chart Excel spreadsheet set up. And I know that we had heard back that some towns are, again, completely virtual. Some towns, like John Mancuso said, are standing outside and letting one person in at a time. Other towns have big enough venues that they're socially distancing. We've heard that as a suggestion. We've also heard that they're limiting the number of people, like a pre-sign up, like everybody signs up online ahead of time, and then it only limits, 5 to 10 people. So there's been quite a variety. I think what has been working and something that we can build upon is increasing our technology support and our use of technology to reach as many residents as we possibly can.
Did my deputy share anything before she left regarding any of that?
Not that I know of.
I'm not sure what you're
That's the
referring
spreadsheet that
to.
I was having her work on.
Oh, no, I think, to be honest, I want to say it actually came from Rita, but I could be completely making that up. But it was way, way, way back in March
that
when all of this happened
that
and we
was-
didn't know what to do.
Right.
Okay.
That was from Rita. She collected information from other towns.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything else helpful that I can do? I've got connections with other towns, the
Yeah.
town clerks, and they are working with, some of them are working with Zoom.
Mm-hmm. I think Zoom right now, there was a lot of bad press in the beginning. They've really enhanced their security features. So everything's password protected. The passwords are encrypted into the links now. They enabled the waiting room, and I think they made a lot of those features mandated beginning May 30th. Like I said, they got a lot of bad press, and I think they tried to recover from a lot of it. But I mean, from my perspective, it seems to be working for us. We tried a little bit last night with the assortment of earbuds that we all have, and we'll continue to work hard at that.
Thank you, Deputy. Pam, as you know, I am in a weekly supervisors meeting for all the supervisors in Monroe County, of which there are 19, and their use is all over the map. Some use Zoom, some use Skype, some use Teams, and there's even another one that I can't remember, so I can't tell you what it is, but their success rate is all over the map also. I don't know why, but Mendon continues to have hacking problems. To the best of my knowledge, we have not ever been confronted by a hacking problem. I know other supervisors that I talk with, sometimes they're drift off into la la land and I've got to wait for them to call to get back. So I think we're having a good run with Zoom, and unless somebody comes up with a better alternative, I think Zoom is the way to go at the present time. It's unfortunate that we can't go to 19 town supervisors and get the same recommendation out of everyone, but I think we've got to go by our experience. And so far, I think it's fairly decent. Any other comments? All right, let me move on to future dates. We have future dates scheduled for board meetings of July 22nd, August 12th, and August 26th. And I've got to add that unless our governor throws us a curve, you can plan on those dates and we will conduct them with Zoom as an option. The planning board is going to meet July 21st and August 18th. And as I stated earlier, it is our intent to have the planning board conduct their meetings similar to this town board meeting. People can come in on Zoom, or if we get a clearance for the town hall to be open, they can come in person. Those announcements will be forthcoming, hopefully in the not too distant future. I will add that the zoning board is going to meet July 23rd and the August 13th, the Zoning Board of Appeals. Once again, they will hopefully conduct their meetings very similar to ours so that residents can pick a meeting, participate, and know what's going on. All right. We are going to go into an attorney-client session, but as a courtesy to those who have shown up tonight, I want to hold the public comment period before we go into attorney-client session so that you don't have to sit around and wait for us to come out and say meeting adjourned. So This is the session where you are allowed to ask a question, make a comment, and you can expect to get a response from the board. If we don't know the answer, a good response, we will tell you and get back to you. Please, again, I remind you to be courteous and have at it.
So I just wanted to let everybody know that Kate Millar posted a link, a PDF application table of contents.
We can put that up on our town website.
Thank you, Amber. And then the first public comment is from Ethan, is it Christ? And he lives at 8309 East River Road.
Thank you, appreciate that. Just wanted to comment on the Rush Riverside Refuge and the opportunity to have FCA there. As I've mentioned in the past, our guys have participated in FCA programs with absolutely nothing but positive experiences. And I'm familiar with their policies. So any concerns about discrimination or things like that are not going to be an issue with them. They invite any and all to participate in their programs and are just an incredible group of people, an incredible group of volunteers. So I wanted to just make that known. You should embrace it with completely open arms. And in my view, that property is absolutely beautiful, but it's also criminally underutilized. I do know there's some issues with water and so on. I think FCA could actually be a very valuable partner in helping to bring some of that around. They've been excellent stewards of all the facilities that I've seen them operate in, with nothing but care and concern for the community and the property. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you, Ethan. Kate Millar is next. And Kate, I don't know if you need to say your address for the town clerk. I don't know how that works.
Sure. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm within Benergy. Pam, if you need more than that, let me know.
That's all I need.
Hi, everyone. This is Kate Millar with Invenergy with the Horseshoe Solar Project. I was just going to say a couple words about the application having been filed. Councilwoman Corbin got to most of that. The link that I posted in the chat does give a table of contents of everything that was in that application. It is a volume. It is over 3,000 pages. So take that application contents and use that as a guide. But there are full site plans that got delivered to the document repositories, and that's the town of Caledonia, the town of Rush, the library at Avon, the library at Caledonia, and the library in Rush. And that's all subject to hours, but everything's available online on the Horseshoe website and on the state website. And if you need a copy, I'm happy to mail you a copy of the site plan or something like that while we're in such limbo now. But you will see on the maps that we have further reduced the area in Rush. We took some fields out that were by, or a field out that was by Gola Road and East River Road. So just kind of pay attention to the decrease, the changes that were made there. And in terms of timeline, there is 60 days from the 2nd of July that starts a clock for the agencies to review and get to a determination of completeness. It's been our experience that with Article 10 projects that they're never just complete out of the gate. And so that would mean that we probably have more compliance filings. So we're looking at a couple of months before we're even at what is considered a complete application. And from there, it starts another up to a year of review. While I encourage everyone to go out and look at the documents and look at the site plans, also keep in mind that we have time for conversation and feedback. So don't feel like we're out there with shovels in the next couple of weeks or months, because we're looking at over a year, as your attorney mentioned. But we will be doing more, there's still more work ahead. There's more environmental work and studies to be done. That includes cultural resource field work. So we're going to be having our consultants out doing field research for archaeological, historical, and cultural sites probably this summer. So just know that, while we've got the application there, there's still a lot of research and a lot of consultation that needs to happen. And so I always encourage you to get in touch with me. I'm happy to come and present. In fact, I would, love if the board would be willing to entertain that anytime. Just let me know. So that's all. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Kate.
you, Kate.
I think, oh, hang on, one new message. Audrey Seibert has a question.
Supervisor QC,
Yes,
have
ma'am.
you, any other recommendation for Jean Morelli as that town board member other than her ability to look at numbers? Do you have any other relation with her that makes her qualified to have this position compared to any of the other names that have been mentioned over the last couple of months? Because
Well,
has not come up before tonight.
okay, I understand what you're asking, and let me have a go at it. I think that over the past couple of months, several of the names that have been mentioned have been potentially good candidates. The issue is they mostly all are seeking a political office for the long term. And it is my opinion that people should be electing those who sit in the offices long term, not a political group or not friends or associates. In the case of Ms. Morelli, she has the financial wherewithal. She holds a CPA that I was looking to expand on her input because I'm not totally comfortable with the way our finance system works. I've had many people tell me they have trouble understanding it. And, I think Jean, as a experienced CPA and as an experienced auditor, and I also know her to be a very diplomatic lady. She doesn't get involved in encounters with anyone. She talks her way through it. And I think that her motives for willing to accept a temporary assignment are all honorable and fair and would not do the town of Rush voters a disservice, because at the November election, they can pick their person to fill that seat, and she will vacate on December 31st. She's been a long-term resident of the town. She has been very involved in some other town activities, and I think all put together, she's a great candidate. I'm not saying there aren't others. I would never say that, but I don't know of any others who want to come forth who have the qualities that she shows.
Other than the ability to be an accountant and a relationship with you during the election of the fall of 2019, we have had other people whose names have been mentioned for months now and who regularly attend these Zoom meetings and have offered to put themselves forward in this temporary position.
Yes, I agree with you. My biggest concern is that they have long-term motives for wanting to be involved. And I think I would be doing the community of residents a disservice by putting someone in there who had long-term office holding motives.
And maybe you can poll the audience. I believe there were other people mentioned who did not have long-term aspirations for the position.
And that could have been, but everyone, I looked at everyone and I said, will I feel good about appointing this person? And will I be able to face the man on the street, the woman on the street for this appointment? And in every case, there was a reason why I couldn't do that with good conscience. I'm sorry, I'm not saying I'm 100% right, I'm just saying that that was the process I used to get to Jean Morelli.
Audrey, did you have anything more to say?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
so someone asked, was there a resolution to appoint Jean Morelli in the minutes?
There will be when these minutes are taken today.
So
I
does there,
offered the resolution to appoint her, and it was denied by Councilman Woolliver and approved by Councilwoman Corbin and I.
so does that make it a resolution? I'm sorry, I don't know the lingo.
It was
Yeah.
a resolution introduced by the supervisor, seconded by Councilwoman Corbin. The board was polled, and there were 2 votes in favor, 1 vote against, and so the resolution did not carry. That will be reflected in the minutes of this meeting when they are finalized by the town clerk.
Okay. So there's 2 more people in line, Cheryl Lomedico, and then Janet Glocker. If you, Cheryl and Janet, when it's your turn, if you could just state your address for the town clerk, that would be helpful.
Okay, let me share my video real quick. Here we go. Cheryl Lomedico, 95 Woodruff Road. Follow-up question from Audrey. If Jerry, when you were reviewing the candidates, wouldn't all the candidates be reviewed like an executive session with the other members of the board and then make a group decision and then bring it to the town residents and just to inform us what's going on? Because it sounds like you made the decision and not involved the residents. And also on a follow-up on procedures, when you have something with a vote that needs to happen, aren't you supposed to bring it up for discussion and then vote on it on the next meeting? So I guess it's 2 comments there, that it's like, 1, you didn't involve the full board, which you probably should have. And secondly, when you have a decision, you discuss it and then vote on the next meeting. So I guess I want your feedback on that.
Well, I appreciate your comment, Cheryl, and I can relate to what you're asking. I don't want to get into talking about individuals, but everyone who was vetted that I looked at to consider vetting, with the exception of Ms. Morelli, had some kind of tie to the politics of the town. I will state once again that I am adamant about not wanting to appoint someone to be able to have them run as an incumbent and have a foot up, if you will, on the election. That's a practice of political committees, and I don't want any part of that.
Right, I understand that, sir, but also, are there any candidates that you reviewed besides Jean that did not have future political stuff? Was there anybody else, or is she the only one that did not?
There was none, Cheryl. She
Okay.
was the only one that didn't, but I want to emphasize, in the town the size of Rush, I don't know if there were any others who might have been straightforward and not had a tie. I don't know that. I only know what I had to deal with. And what I had to deal with, and it was also complicated by, we have a small board now. It was challenging enough to work with 4 board members. Now we're down to 3, and I would like to make sure that whoever we appoint does not have any connection, that would benefit them in the future.
So it was time frame that you wanted someone to get into that spot immediately.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. That wasn't explained in any of your explanations. The time frame was critical, and that's okay. I understand that. And the second part is because of the time frame, wouldn't it be could you guys have an emergency meeting and discuss this and not, sorry to say for the other members, spring it up onto them so they were aware of it?
Well, that could have been done. The time frame is looming and pressing, and we are right now entering into the budget period. And I would have liked that experienced budget person to be part of it. Sometimes these discussions can take a lot longer than it's worth, and I wanted to avoid that. But now,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much, but now I'm even farther behind the 8 ball than I was, so we'll have to see where this goes.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right, Janet is next. Janet, if you could also state your address for the town clerk, then Hans is after that, and then I won't get too far ahead of myself. So Janet and then Hans.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janet Glocker. I live at 791 Rush Henrietta Town Line Road on the Rush side of that road. I have a comment and a question. I would like to comment on the quality of the work that Jean Morelli did with respect to opting out. I think the number attached to that is 487. Jean clearly understood how to affect the opt-out. There was a poll of residents who responded to a website. We found that the residents were bipartisan in wishing that we opt out of property tax issues with respect to solar and wind. She did a great job with that. Sometimes CPA lingo confounds me, and Jean did a great job on that. I do have a follow-on question. Mr. Mancuso, what did you say about the resolution? The vote was 2-1, I believe, and I believe the resolution did carry. Is that correct?
That is not correct. So in order for a resolution to carry with a 3-member board, you need to have a unanimous vote of those 3 members because you count the vacancies for purposes of the total votes. So you need a majority of the total 5-person board with 2 vacancies. You need 3 out of 5 to carry. So we do not have a appointment because there was only 2 votes in favor, 1 against.
Thank you.
Janet, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, thank you, Victoria. I'm
All right,
finished.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Janet.
All right, Hans is next, and then Arthur, and I'm so sorry, I'm probably going to mess up your last name again. Avila. So we'll go to Hans and then Arthur.
Yeah, I'm not sure you guys can hear me. Can you hear me, Victoria?
I can hear you.
Okay, this has to do with the Horseshoe Solar Project. I heard Kate Miller when she came on, or is it Mylar? I would just like to follow up on Dan's comment of having a presentation by Horseshoe. Minimally, lots of the maps or some of the maps that have been available have been very like fuzzy and you know, the shades of green where the actual solar panels were kind of like barely visible, and the quality of those maps has been kind of poor. I was hoping to get a higher quality map available out to the residents with blow up regions for each area. And the Rush area isn't so large, so it'd be nice to have a blow up. It'd be nice to also have an indication, like Dan mentioned, if it is close to or the final version. I think it'd be fair to show us what that is very clearly in a large format. And I think I heard there'd be a copy posted in the library, but it'd be nice to have like a copy digitally available on the town website of at least the maps, and following that with perhaps a Zoom meeting if we can't meet in person, where you could give us the lowdown. So that's my request for Kate, and if the town board obviously would be okay with it. So that is just really a request for me. It's not really a discussion. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Hans.
Thank you, Hans.
All right. Arthur, then Don Eichenauer, and then Catherine Hankins. And Arthur, could you pronounce your name for me again so I can get it accurate for you next time?
Yes, it's Arthur Avila.
Avila.
Yes.
Okay, I'll try and remember that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And my address is 1000 Rush Scottsville Road. I sent an agreement to make help with the transcripts of the meetings. I sent it back and forth with Pamela. And I also received a revised version of it from was revised by the town attorney, and I wanted to let the board know that I am okay to go forward with what John added to the first version of the agreement. And I know that can hugely improve the work that Pamela is doing, making those minutes available for you. And I want to let you know that I'm okay with the version that is right now. And if you can vote on it, we can probably have it going faster for you as well.
Thank you, Arthur.
John Mancuso, is there something that needs to happen from
Yeah.
that process?
Yeah, so the agreement is in front of the board. I did make the changes that were mentioned and reviewed the agreement. I didn't have any other comments or issues with it. And so it's up to the board to decide whether to approve the supervisor to execute the transcription agreement.
Attorney Mancuso, I have not seen any documentation. I haven't seen the contract. I haven't seen any correspondence between the town clerk and you. If it has, I apologize. I know the town clerk said there's been trouble with the email when I stopped in. Was it yesterday, Pam, or the day before? She said there's some trouble with our town email situation, but I've not seen the contract. I've not seen the transcript that.
I didn't send it. I just sent it to the supervisor because he had to sign it.
Okay, because I don't feel comfortable voting on a contract or anything that I have not been made aware of yet.
I have not signed that, Amber. You will see it before I do.
Okay, thank you.
You and Dan.
Thank you.
Can I see it too?
And the deputy supervisor.
All right, thank you, Arthur. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Arthur, very much.
Don, Catherine, and then Kate Millar uploaded another PDF of the site plans. Amber, can I ask you to help facilitate supporting and loading that onto the website with the other PDF?
I certainly will. Well, it will depend on the size of the file, if E-code can handle it, but I'll talk with Pam about that.
Thank you. All right, Don, and then Catherine Hankins.
Yes, can you hear me? Don Eichenauer, 35 Sylvan Knoll, Rush, New York. The supervisor, in talking about his recommendation for a town board member, stated that it was based on everyone that was vetted. That would seem to imply that the position was advertised and that all of the town board members had the opportunity, similar opportunity, to review a resume and interview that person. Is that truly the case?
That is not the case.
So this was a recommendation just by you?
It's a recommendation by me.
Okay. So the town board did not have the opportunity to vet them. Also, you talked about this person as having significant financial experience. Does the town not have a paid financial director that has put the budget together for many times?
My apology for referring to the town finance person as being a financial director. The town financial director is really a bookkeeper, a very meticulous bookkeeper, and we do need some additional input as to how the system could be made more friendly for residents who take an interest in such matters.
Okay, but we do have a paid financial person that has put the budget together in the past, correct?
All true.
Okay, and I just want to remind you that there was an individual, Jeff Warner, who was a highly respected past board member who had agreed that a few months ago that he would be willing to serve out the remainder of the term, and if he was appointed to serve out the remainder of the term, would not seek office. So he was willing to do that for the betterment of the town, and I just want to remind you of that as well as you have quote vetted this number of people.
You need not remind me of Jeff and his past experience, his skill, and I like Jeff a lot. I thought Jeff would have made a great candidate, except for one thing, which I think should remain confidential. If Jeff wants to know what that was, I will share it with him.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Don. All right, Catherine, then a comment that everyone can read. Copies to enhance the background so that the homes and trees are visible. But I'll let everyone read that. All right, Catherine.
Thank you. This is a message to John Mancuso. I had done some research in terms of being able to appoint a new board member in an elected position. And my reading of the town law from New York State was that it was a majority of those members who were left. And it would make no sense because we have had in the town, we have 973 towns in New York State. And there have been situations where boards, 2 or 3 of the board members have gone out. We also have a number of town boards that have only 3 members. So we've already just passed some resolutions that could end up being 2 to 1. So I'd like you to revisit that. I did do some research after the vacancy, just for my own mindset. So I don't have it in front of me, but I would like you to look at that, because that's my understanding of the town law. And in terms of having a vetting process, I certainly have put my name in to be considered for the town board a couple times. And I think it is the discretion of the town board to make those decisions. I have read extensively on what the process could be, might sort of be suggested to be, but the process is very clear in town law that it is the decision of the town board members who are remaining. So I would like to have you revisit that. And I do think from all that I know that this is a legitimate process, and really it should be an appointment this evening based on a 2 to 1 vote. Thank you.
John, is there anything that you wanted to add?
No, I've researched this in the past. I've provided memos to the board in prior vacancy situations. I will follow up and discuss this issue with the town board immediately tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay. Hans, is there anything more that you wanted me to add about your comment, or do you want to have a chance to speak again? I don't want to inaccurately describe your request.
I'm not really, I just put a comment on there for Kate. I know everybody saw it, but it's the same thing happened in the first set of maps. The background is very, very faded and blurry, probably for some technical reason having to do with how you draw these maps. But if you look at it, it's very clear that the homes are obscured from view. I mean, you got to look at it, and it kind of is deceptive in that it makes it not really evident that this is a, you know, a residential area. That's one thing. And the other thing is just the land itself, the features, the trees and so forth. They're all very obscured because everything's blurred or faded, I would say. All right, thank you. That's all I had to say.
Thank you,
Hans,
Hans.
if you'd like, I can share one if it would help to explain what you're referring to. Otherwise, I will not. I'll defer to you.
I could share it too. I'm looking at it now, but no, I guess I'm not.
I'll
It's
share
up to you. It's up to you. You can.
I'll just share real quick, and then you tell me if this is what you are referring to.
I'm looking
Just
at
so
one where
people-
I'm looking at one with the field opposite some of the folks on River Road near Gola Road. And you can't hardly see their homes.
So do you see the one that's up on your screen right now? Do you see the
Yeah.
share? So
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
There's a home there where your
there's
cursor
a home
is.
right there. Right.
Yeah,
With
it's-
right. It's hard to tell. I think again
It
it's
looks like
probably
part of the field or something, you know, like maybe a rock. So,
right.
I mean, you know,
Okay, I just wanted to know, verify that's what you were, so Kate can hopefully help us out to get those clear.
it could be viewed as
Thank you.
it could be viewed as sort of a deceptive figure. Maybe it's a scientist in me, but I want to see exactly what it is, you know.
Yep.
Thank you, Hans, for clarifying. Jeff Werner, where are you? You are now, there you are.
Good evening.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Question I have is for Jerry or Dan. Amber, you're off the hook because you are newly appointed. The question I have is the process that was put in place to post all of the solar information to the website. Was that a resolution by the board? And if it was, who made that decision to put that information up there? That's the first part of my question. Then I have a follow-up.
I don't think it required a resolution to post it on the website. I think it's a courtesy that we have followed through with on several different occasions. John, do you have a comment?
Yeah, that's essentially correct. The posting of information to the website doesn't require a resolution. It was done to allow for the public to see all the information for these projects, given that they are obviously of great importance to the community. And then also under the open meetings law, to the extent practicable, the town needs to make attempt to post certain information in advance of meetings. And so they've been trying to do that with respect to those projects.
Okay, all right, that explains that. So then where I'm going with the question is, in the future, if we continue with Zoom and virtual meetings for all the boards, town board, planning board, and zoning board of appeals, I would like to see all site plans of houses or buildings posted on the website for review. And I know there's been, over the years, there's been multiple issues with builders in town not following through properly with the site plans. And if the neighbors have access to these a lot easier, they can look it up online. They can see the setbacks and know where the property line or where the potential project is in regards to the property line. So would it be possible to have anything regarding the planning board and zoning board of appeals also on the website?
Can I speak to that by any chance?
You sure can.
Jeff, Mr. Mancuso and myself and previously Councilman McCarthy and I were working on process and procedure to speak just to that. And this past week, I've been doing some research on the town of Brighton based on Mr. Mancuso helping us find that information. And that is our goal. Our goal is to take the agenda that you see on the town website, and all the documentation will be right page after page after page. It could be a 100-page document. So planning board, same thing. The planning board agenda will be there. It will say what is going on, and all that documentation will be uploaded before that meeting. So any resident in town can look at it and get a better understanding of what exactly, and then it would still be up there for future reference. Did that answer your question?
It does. So do you have a time frame on that, Amber?
Well, the biggest obstacle we have is our town website. It doesn't allow for large storage. So that is something that once I came on, I know it's been being worked on for quite a while now since I came on. So we've been using the E-Code 360 that you saw when I showed all the solar documentations.
Yes.
The town clerk can upload to that. So that's what we've kind of been using. My understanding is the storage file. So we're hoping, don't quote me here, but the hope is when you go onto the town website and you see agenda, town board, planning board, zoning board, you click on that, that takes you to E-Code 360, and then you would see just what you saw for your forefront solar, but it would be for, you know, subdivision of this property or site plan review or zoning board of appeals public hearing with all the documentation. Because you're right, all residents need to have the ability to be able to see that in a timely manner before they physically log on.
Uh-oh.
I think we lost you, Amber.
Amber, we lost.
Oh, no, she's back.
I went on for 5 minutes and no one. So that's the goal, Jeff. So.
Okay. All right. I just know how helpful it's been when I review the Horseshoe Project to go on, and the information's there, and then it gives me the links back to the website and the state website. I think it would be helpful for new housing and projects in town that residents can keep track of also.
Right. And again, Jeff, to your point, right now we only send, you know, letters out 500 feet if there's something going on, you know, around your property that you want to do something in. So we're also talking about expanding that distance to notify residents that are a little bit farther out, so they're made aware of what's going on and they can go on the website to look it up.
Well, and currently still, we still give the person a sign that there's going to be a public hearing or something to post on the property.
I was on the zoning board for almost 20 years. That has never took place in the 20 years that I was on.
Okay, other towns do that, so maybe that's something we should look at also.
I agree.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you, board.
Thank you,
Jeff. All right, there's a little bit more confusion about the 2 to 3 vote. How will the town agree to appoint the vacant position if 2 out of 3 votes is the decision? Will the minutes reflect that the majority appointed Jean as the new board member?
Don?
I don't understand the question. Is the question whether or not that vote carried to formally appoint Ms. Morelli as the 4th member of the board? Is that the question?
I think that's the question. And then will the minutes reflect that the majority of 2 of 3 to appoint Jean, given Kathy Hankins' comments on the proper representation?
Again, as I indicated before, the minutes are going to reflect that there was a resolution introduced by Supervisor Cusey. I believe it was seconded by Councilwoman Corbin. The board was polled, and I believe it was 2 votes in favor and 1 vote against. As I indicated, that I do not believe carries in order to approve the appointment of that board member. I know that there's been comment with respect to disagreement with that. And I will, as I indicated, I will follow up with the board and advise them accordingly immediately tomorrow. But I don't believe it is carried.
Thank you, John. Okay, does anyone else have any public comment? Anyone? Going once? Going twice?
I would like to close this segment of our meeting with a comment. And that is, I want to thank everyone for expressing your concerns, your opinions, your whatever. I know when we first started having this kind of a dialogue back in January and February, there were several naysayers who said, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, don't do that because things will get out of control. I have seen nothing but civility practiced in these sessions. I think residents get a lot out of it. I think it allows us, town board members, to have a better understanding of what people are thinking and where people would like us to go. And I also want to add that in a democratic society, I want you to know that I don't think I'm the sharpest knife in the drawer. I have to rely on other people to guide me and help me make decisions that are in the best interests of the town of Rush. I wish everyone would do that. I do it, and it's very rewarding to me to have the results of that. But I will continue to seek the guidance and opinion from other people as long as I'm able to do it. And I thank you for your comments tonight.
All right. I would like to move to enter into attorney-client session to seek legal advice of the town attorney at 8:37 p.m.
I'll second that motion.
Councilman Wilbur.
Aye.
Councilwoman Corbin.
Aye.
Supervisor Cusey.
Aye.
And also, given the nature, maybe I should have said it before, sorry. Those attending will be the supervisor, the town board members, the deputy supervisor, and the town attorney. Do I have to redo that, Mr. Mancuso? Okay.
Nope,
Amber.
we're all set.
Amber, I'm sorry, could you read that one more time? I was just reading the last two comments in the chat. So I'm putting everybody in the waiting
yes,
room.
the supervisor, town board members, Councilman Williver, myself, the deputy supervisor, you, and the town attorney will participate.
Okay. All right, I will put everyone in the waiting room. Thank you. Oh, so the last two comments were, Kate, please note that the area numbers in the first map, 43 and 44, do not seem to correspond correctly to the blow-ups. Thank you. And then Kate provided her email and phone number for everybody on there. I'll just say her phone number out loud. It's KMILLAR at Invenergy, INVENERGY.com, and her phone number is area code 1-607-882-1225.
Victoria, can you also send me a shot of everyone that is attending in the comments, please?
Yes, I did already. This might take a minute. I think we hit our record high of 55.
Good.
So
You're getting there. Two more, three more, two more. Oh, you can get rid of me.
this other one I'm gonna get rid of.
Yeah. John, are we good? So you have to stop recording,
Stop the recording, yep.
right?
Jerry, would you like me to stop the recording?
Yes, for this session, yes.
Yeah. In the waiting room besides the town clerk?
Yeah, you
Because
ready?
they're technically they're allowed back in too.
I think we're all back in.
All right, I so move to enter back into the regular session of the Rushtown Board meeting at 9:10 p.m. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Wolver,
Aye.
Councilwoman Corbin,
Aye.
Supervisor Cusey,
Aye.
Then a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everyone. Be
Good
safe.
night.
Good
Good
night.
night. Thank you for coming.